Hello everyone, it's me, it's Clayton, and I just got back from seeing John Wick Chapter 2. And if you loved the first John Wick for its incredible action scenes, great main character, and a, the and a very simple yet satisfying story, you'll definitely enjoy the sequel, as it does what every good sequel should do. It advances the story further, gives us more of an insight into the world that John Wick is a part of, and it and it is even more action-packed than the first one. Well, let's get to the story, shall we? A few days after the events of the first John Wick, feels like he's going to retire again. However, a former associate comes in and says that he's ordered by a blood oath to go into the assassin's world for one more job. So John Wick has to travel to Rome to battle the world's deadliest killers. Now, revealing any more of the story would be going into spoiler territory, so I'll just stop right there. So, what did I like about this film? Well, in a similar fashion to the original John Wick, it has a very basic premise, but it happens to work the hell out of it. Though I will say that the emotional connection to this film isn't as strong as the first one. In the first film, when the whole plot is started by a bunch of Russian punks beating up John Wick and killing his dog, you had an emotional connection to Wick, and you totally understood why he'd be on this road of revenge. In this film, he's more forced into the job rather than actively going back into assassin work, for the sake of a dog. It does make the emotional connection a tiny bit weaker, but when it comes to the overall how well the film stacks up in every other area, it doesn't really matter. The action scenes in this film are where the film truly stands out. They're stylish, they're creative, they're full of great choreography. The cinematography throughout most of the fights is amazing, especially considering there aren't a lot of quick cuts, there are a lot of tracking shots, but all the actors and stuntmen on display here really did a great job, as half the time it feels like an old school kung fu movie, and the other half of the time it feels like a gory 90s style action film, to the point where you could probably write an entire college class on how to make a satisfying action film just based on what John Wick and John Wick 2 do with their action. And, of course, Keanu Reeves. Say what you will about his previous performances, but I totally dig him as John Wick. He's stoic, he's incredibly deadly with a gun, but you still emotionally connect with him because of the stuff he goes through. And the characters in the film are entirely defined by their actions rather than their words, which not only makes when they do talk, it doesn't just make their lines more quotable, it also makes it pretty satisfying, where it seems like every single character just revels in how amazing John Wick is as an assassin. Where every single assassin, even though they're obviously highly skilled with their jobs, they practically wet themselves when they see Wick, considering they just know how deadly he is. And this goes for the other actors too. Common plays Cassian, an assassin that John fights a few times throughout the film, and he's very much similar to Wick, stoic, confident, and supremely skilled at assassinations. Ruby Rose plays another assassin, who's probably my favorite in the film. She's a mute, who speaks only through sign language. And even though she has no spoken lines throughout the entire film, she's still an amazing character who gets her personality through just via sign language. It also helps that this film is very stylish, very much like the first film. It's stylish but realistic in a sense, where all the stunts you see are actually being done. There's not a lot of CGI. You know how in other films you can tell where there's a lot of CGI used for action scenes and where some of the shots are used with obvious stuntmen? In this film, Keanu Reeves is really doing most of his stunts, and most of the insane choreography you're seeing is actually happening. It's really there, and you can tell that they can pull off these incredible action scenes with absolute care on relatively small budgets, which probably explains why John Wick managed to turn a profit last time, and where it's probably going to turn a profit this time, even with the Lego Batman movie in the same weekend as this one. So yeah, the action scenes are creative, the story is simple but satisfying, And the film ends on a note where it is a sequel hook, but it still ends on a satisfying note considering how John Wick accomplishes his last job. So, if you want an action film that is going to satisfy you after having an entire month of January full of disappointments, John Wick 2 is definitely the film for you. If you loved the first one, you'll love this one, just like I did. I give John Wick Chapter 2 a 9 out of 10. Definitely see it. See you next time.